radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Monday, May 3rd, 2021. "124 days into the new year, only 241 days left." All right. Happy Paranormal Day, everybody. I read that today. I was like, is this real? It's World Paranormal Day? I didn't know there was such a thing. Did we do this last year? Happy Paranormal Day. Yeah, I think it's getting recognized. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful, middle of nowhere. That's right, a total undisclosed location. But it is beautiful. And I posted this earlier. You know what that is? That's for guitar players only. You know what that is? You know what this is? You know what that is? That's happening tomorrow. Supposed to be. Yeah, man. All right. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. And for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet, I'm yours, Jimmy Church. What is cracking? Got an amazing week this week on Fade to Black. And tonight, a very special guest, Sarah Adams, is with us for the first time. There's nothing better in my world, in the broadcast world, there's nothing better than a first-time guest. First-time caller, first-time guest. That rocks. Tonight, Sarah Adams joins us. Tomorrow night, right here, Billy Carson is back with a very special announcement. We've got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. This special announcement is a small part of the show, but it's huge. And I was talking to Billy about this last week. I was like, man, what? So I can't wait for this tomorrow night. And it is very, very cool. Exclusive right here on Fade to Black. And then Wednesday night, Tim McMillan joins us of The Debrief, also another first-time guest. And Tim and I have been talking now for probably a couple of years to get him on the show, which we've almost set up so many times. Great guy, great writer, great investigator, great researcher, and really looking forward to this. So that's on Wednesday night, and he's over in Germany. And so we're going to pull that off. That'll be Wednesday. And then Thursday night, it's Linda Moulton Howe. And for all of the late-breaking UFO news that has been going on and everything over at Earth Files. And Tim, of course, is going to be talking about this on Wednesday. Billy's going to be talking about this tomorrow night. And we're going to also discuss some of this tonight with Sarah. We've got a very, very busy week on Fade to Black, which means no Fader night this week. We're running four guests 4 guests, and it's going to be great. Now, Sarah is going to be at UFO MegaCon with myself, and tomorrow night, Billy Carson is also going to be at UFO MegaCon, and just a coincidence, but it's a big conference with a bunch of really amazing speakers. I mean, top shelf what's going on in Laughlin, Nevada next month, and it's nearly exactly a week from now. It's on the 6th of June, and today's the 3rd of May. Incredible. We are a month away from a real UFO conference, people. Yeah. Are we at the end of this? It's starting to feel that way. Is the pandemic over? At least here in the United States, it seems like that trend is finally here. So UFO MegaCon, June 6th through the 12th, Laughlin, Nevada. And I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, we're going to be there. I'm going to have the Fade to Black booth, all the Fade or Nots. And we've got a few extra things that we're going to be bringing along to this conference. So I can't wait to just hang out with everybody. I am so serious about that. Oh, man, I need real people. I need food. I need an environment. I need all of that. Everything that, and it's so crazy that what we do in the UFO community all year long, every month there's 1 or 2 really cool conferences going on around the country, around the world, and we are able to just get together and do our thing and say hello to friends, and we haven't been able to do that. Nobody's been able to do it, but I just really, really miss it. And finally, we get to do it June 6th through the 12th in Laughlin, Nevada. I've got a banner up over at jimmychurchradio.com, and it says it right there, UFO MegaCon, Laughlin, Nevada. And just click and get over and get your tickets. State of Nevada has lifted all the restrictions for this event. So, again, it just feels like maybe we're at the end of this. Maybe we're at the end. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Okay? I've had a lot of fun on Twitter over the weekend. And I've been posting. Now, look. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what that is? You're going to find out tomorrow, that's for sure. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I just posted pictures of I'm excited. Tomorrow's a big day. Can't wait for it. All right. Hang out with us on Twitter. Hashtag F2B. That's the sandbox. Looking at everybody here. Mark Tarana hanging out again. Yep. Missing for months. Now we can't get rid of the guy. And that is all I've got. That Flying V video is one of the funniest things ever. Oh, there's Randy Rhodes. Man, you guys are... Yeah. Hashtag F2B if you want to see all the GIFs that everybody is posting over there. You can also post any questions at hashtag F2BQ. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Hello to everybody out there. The Bunker Cam, how you guys doing? Facebook, how you guys doing? YouTube. Okay, YouTube. See, YouTube thinks, that if I'm not hanging out, then, the cat's away, right? No, I got to keep my eyes on them. Got to keep my eyes on YouTube. I gotta click. Oh, man. See, the sandbox knows. The sandbox knows I'm right here, and anybody steps out of bounds, they're going to get out of bounds. They're going to get muted. They're going to get blocked. They're going to get ignored. They know it. They know. The sandbox knows. And YouTube is different. If I just show up and make a comment, everybody snaps to attention. Oh, the teacher's here. The camp counselor is back. We have to behave now. All right. Let's get to the breaking news. Crazy. More on this in just a second, but a crazy news day. Crazy news weekend. Neuralink president Max Hodak announced on Saturday via Twitter that he is no longer with the health tech venture in which he and co-founded with Elon Musk and 7 other scientists and engineers. He said that he has not been working there for a few weeks and did not reveal the circumstances of his departure. For Musk, Saturday was undoubtedly requiring more of his focus, on his aerospace venture, SpaceX, because after 167 days in space, astronauts and a crewed SpaceX and NASA mission splashed down. So Hodak didn't get that attention that he thought he was going to get from Elon. Elon's Neuralink is one of the many medical tech companies right now working on brain-machine interfaces. That's not all. And more Elon news. Earlier this month, Musk's SpaceX secured a $2.9 billion contract with NASA to put humans back on the moon and to design that lander. But the deal has now been suspended due to complaints made by both companies that lost out. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and the Alabama-based Dynetics. In light of these complaints, the contract between NASA and SpaceX has now been suspended, and it could take until August 4th for a decision to be made regarding the filings. NASA has not made any official comments on the suspension aside from not acknowledging it. Wait a minute. Acknowledging it, not acknowledging it. They're just being silent. Verizon. Crazy news today. Verizon is quitting the media business, announcing today that it is selling its entire media unit for $5 billion. That's a $5 billion loss to private equity firm Apollo Global Management. What are they selling? Well, the sale includes AOL and Yahoo, which Verizon bought for a combined $9 billion in recent years, but they wrote down $5 billion in losses. Verizon will retain a 10% stake in the spinoff, and the Verizon Media Group will now change its name to just Yahoo. That is crazy. Well, a massive Chinese rocket core is about to make an uncontrolled re-entry over Earth. And the same type of rocket crashed into West Africa in the Atlantic Ocean back in May of 2020. We talked about it right here on the show. And it possibly damaged a village there. The huge 100-foot tall core of a Chinese Long March 5B rocket is tumbling wildly out of control through low Earth orbit and could make an uncontrolled re-entry through the atmosphere in the coming days. The Long March 5B successfully launched a module for China's planned Tianhe space station into orbit last week on Wednesday, April 28th. Now, they're going to be doing these launches all through the year. They're going to launch 11 of these modules into space, connect them all up, and they're saying that this new Chinese space station, it's going to be huge, it's going to be glorious, it's going to be beautiful. That's the Chinese words. And operational in 2022, next year. This time next year. Crazy. Well, Germany's Oktoberfest is being canceled for the second consecutive year due to the ongoing public health concerns stemming from the coronavirus pandemic. The annual festival, which was scheduled to take place from September 18th to October 3rd, will not be held this year. The premier of the southern German state of Bavaria announced earlier today. And finally, I leave you with this. Bill and Melinda Gates are ending their marriage after 27 years. The pair announced all of this in statements on their verified Twitter accounts. Bill Gates is one of the richest people in the world. We all know that. His net worth was $137 billion as of February, but not as of today. And all of this according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index ranking. But today he tumbled to number 13, tied for a three-way get-together with his old partner at Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, and his newest old partner, Melinda Gates. They're all worth about $70 billion today. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, the one and only Frankie Valli. Today is 87 years old. Now, I'm going to say, I thought about this a lot. I watched a bunch of videos today on YouTube, had to go and do it. And my favorite Frankie Valli song, all right, Four Seasons, Who Loves You? Yep. That's a good video, too, the official video. Go and check it out. REO Speedwagon bassist Bruce Hall is 68. He's been with the band since 1977. And Christopher Cross, that's right, I said it, Sailing. It's a good song. Christopher Cross today is 70 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today is James Brown, 1933 to 2006, died at the age of 73. James was the absolute creator of funk and a major influence on modern music. He is known as the Godfather of Soul, Mr. Dynamite, and Soul Brother #1. In a career that lasted over 50 years, he influenced nearly every musician on planet Earth and was one of the first 10 inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at its inaugural induction on January 23rd, 1986. On Christmas Day, 2006, James died at the age of 73 from heart failure resulting from complications of pneumonia in Atlanta, Georgia. On this day in history, OTD, 1952. A ski-modified U.S. Air Force C-47, piloted by Joseph Fletcher and William Benedict, becomes the first aircraft to land on the North Pole. Rumors are they hung out with Santa Claus. Fader fact. All right, here we go. Syphilis. That's right. Syphilis has had many names throughout history. That's right. In Germany, it was the French disease. In France, it was the Italian disease. In Holland, it was the Spanish disease. In Russia, it was the Polish disease. In Turkey, it was the, wait for it, Christian disease. And that is your Fader fact. Tonight, very special guest Sarah Adams joins us for the first time. Tomorrow night, Billy Carson is back. Very special announcement. Got a lot to talk about tomorrow night with Billy. Wednesday night, first-time guest Tim McMillan of The Debrief is here. And Thursday night, Linda Moulton Howe. We're going to be talking about all week all of this crazy breaking news. Now, it's time for me to hit this River Moon coffee. Today I held in my hands, I opened a 5-pound bag of Fade to Black blend and just feel like I'm holding my child and just glorious. Thank you, Juanita and Chef Shad. You guys have the best company in the world. It's just absolutely incredible. And I want you to visit rivermoonwellness.com. All of our Black Moon products, all the coffee products. And, of course, you can go and visit our Amazon store. All right. It's good. Saw this post over the weekend. Man, I heard this guy sipping coffee in public, and every time he sipped it, he went, ah. And it was driving me crazy. And I thought, man, I like that guy. Whoever was sipping this, you can't help it. Well, so let me get all of this in. I noticed a trend a few years ago, but I never really mentioned it because I didn't want to sound crazy. And, it was with all the nutty news that's been going around, the fake news, the total drama over the last 4 or 5 years. Well, I just kind of kept things to myself. But this past Friday, not one, not two, but 3 UFO events broke in the media, all at the same time. There was the big story in the New Yorker magazine by Gideon Lewis Krauss with the title, How the Pentagon Started Taking UFOs Seriously. All right, day started off there. Then we had the New York Post with UFOs are real, feds cover up fueled by fear, ex-Pentagon whistleblower. Right? Or maybe that one was first, and then the New Yorker came out, or the New Yorker came out first, then it was the Post. And that article in the Post was by Michael Kaplan and Stephen Greenstreet. Now, shortly after both articles were published, Nick Pope appeared on Tucker Carlson, prime time, right there on Fox News. And I'm starting to refer to the end of the work week as UFO Friday. That's right. The New Yorker piece was pretty solid, but it was more about UFO history. You know, it's like UFO history 101. And going through a long timeline of events in this article, it was cool. All the way back to Roswell and right up to today, it was definitely a feature on and about Leslie Kean. And it was amazing, and all of her hard work. And I learned a lot from the article. I learned about what she's put into this for our community over the years. And even more fascinating was how she got into the UFO subject back in 1999. The article in the New Yorker is well worth the read. There was a very strange, albeit but unnecessary crack at Jeremy Corbell. And he was briefly mentioned, and all the names were there. Tim McMillan's in the article. We're going to have Tim on the show on Wednesday. And, so everybody's getting mentioned, and he gets briefly mentioned in the timeline over the last couple of weeks, but he was referred to as the guy who failed at storming Area 51. And I thought, man, that's kind of whack, instead of giving some credit for his films. With an article that was so spot on, this jab seemed out of place. Although it was correct, and I get that, you just don't do. So there's something going on with Corbell and Gideon, I guess. I don't know. But we must remember who reads the New Yorker magazine. And that is, New Yorkers, first off. So something like this that is so comprehensive and thorough is a great primer for those who don't know much about UFO history or how we got here, and a solid guide for all of the political stuff that is going on right now between the Pentagon, Capitol Hill, and, flying pyramids. The New York Post article was quite the opposite. It was a feature on Lou Elizondo, who is now officially being called a whistleblower. And just like the New Yorker article, this is another primer, for those who haven't been following the story over the last 3 or 4 years. And it sets up quite nicely what is about to go down on Capitol Hill next month in June with the UAP Task Force Special Report for the Senate Intelligence Committee and Marco Rubio. Now, was there any breaking news or new information in either piece? No, there was not. We've covered everything here on Fade to Black, but for the first-timers to the subject, it was all breaking news. Lastly, we had Nick Pope on after these two stories broke on Fox News with Tucker Carlson. And the funny thing is, I was speaking with Nick on other matters for about an hour on Friday morning. And we did talk about the pending breaking stories with the New Yorker and the New York Post. And we also talked about that he might be on with Tucker later on that night. But it was our mutual comments about this being another UFO Friday. And we laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was true. UFO news simply breaks on the weekend, breaks on Friday, breaks on Saturday. It never breaks on a Monday. Monday is reserved for the big stuff, the big leagues, because it sets up the conversation and coverage for the week in the media. That's what they do, right? Just imagine. Think about this. Just imagine if we had a UFO Monday, right? A UFO Monday. And then it's followed by a full 5 days of all UFO all the time. Now, I'm starting to think it may happen starting this June. We'll see. It was an amazing weekend for UFO coverage. There was a little, I wouldn't call it hysteria. I wouldn't go that far with Friday, but it was just like boom, boom, boom. And it was crazy. And I go back and I just started to think, and I was talking to Nick about this at length. I was like, man, everything breaks on a Friday when it comes to UFOs. And he said, you're right. You know, and it's a way to obviously bury the story, because over the weekend, everybody's going to be doing their thing. Come Monday, it's a fresh news week, and that's where the big stuff is. So anything that is paranormal, UFO, you know, all of that stuff, they do it on Friday. They do it on a Saturday. Go and check. It's amazing to see. Amazing. All right. Well, we're going to see what happens this June. We're going to see. What if this breaks on a Monday? I have the feeling we're going to have a full solid week of UFO coverage, and I'm looking forward to it. We've got an amazing week coming up here on Fade to Black. Absolutely amazing. It starts off tonight with Sarah Adams joining us for the first time. Tomorrow night, right here, Billy Carson. All right. Now, I got a big announcement tomorrow night and a lot of other things we're going to be talking about. And then Wednesday night from Germany, Tim McMillan of the Debrief is here. Also a first-time guest. Really looking forward to this. And then Thursday night, Linda Moulton Howe is here for all of the breaking news that has been going down. And, of course, all of her reporting over on Earth Files. So no Fader night this week. We're too busy for it. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, Sarah Adams. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
Fadernauts. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. An amazing week coming up here on Fade to Black. It starts tonight with Sarah Adams. Tomorrow night, Billy Carson is here. Wednesday night, Tim McMillan of The Debrief. And then Thursday night, Linda Moulton House. So we've got an amazing week coming up, and I'm very excited. Tonight, Sarah Adams joins us for the first time, and we are going to have a full, wide-ranging conversation about ET contact, healing, health, our planet, pretty much the future of everything. We're going to do all of that tonight. Sarah has experienced many things, from seeking abductions to seeing angels who aided her. She experienced the supernatural in past lives in Egypt and Atlantis. Telepathy, weather abnormalities, feeling others' emotions, remote viewing, quantum leaping, and time travel are among the other alternate realities Sarah has endured. She also works with many clients around the world in what she calls intuitive healing, and has made TV appearances on Gaia TV, including Beyond Belief, Buzzsaw, and Ancient Civilizations, as well as Coast to Coast AM, Vice TV, The Basis Project, and co-hosting the Divine Truth Show on Revolution Radio. Her website is linked right there at jimmychurchradio.com. We've got it up in the feed, and it is sarahradams.com. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black for the first time, Sarah Adams. Sarah, good evening. How are you?
Thank you for having me on, Jimmy. I'm excited about this show.
It's about time, right?
Right?
It's about time.
Yeah, I keep seeing you at all these conferences. So I was like, it's about time, huh?
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this, and so is everybody else. But first, you get the first-time guest disclaimer. So let's get that out of the way. Which is this, Sarah? It's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends. But we're going to end as friends. There you go. Yeah. All right, you ready? You excited? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So much to talk about tonight, and one of the things, and I say this often with so many guests, that when I have a dynamic guest on that speaks about and has research in all of the things that fascinate me on this show, you know, when it comes to telepathy, or, you know, of course, ET and contact and time travel and Atlantis and Egypt, these are the things that I discuss every single day. And so you and I tonight, we've got so many things to get in, and we're going to do that. But the next time you're on the show, we'll just focus on one thing, and we'll just do one thing only. But tonight, we kind of gotta jump around a little bit and get it all in. And I hope you don't mind. It's going to be a lot.
I don't
mind. Yeah, good. Let's start out here. And this is a general question that has to get asked, as painful as it is, because we all start off an interview this way. But I do want to go back to your childhood, and the reason why I have done thousands of shows and interviews, and I have found that I am not unique. I thought I had a crazy childhood with a crazy mom and things, and then I find out that for all of us, it kind of starts out there. What happened? So for you, did you start making contact at an early age? Was it a crazy mom or dad or crazy aunt or uncle, that helped you get into this?
So I had a very traumatic childhood, and I'm very open about that. I winded up as a child going through so much abuse, and every time, the abuse happened, the ETs would come to me, the spirits would come to me, they would take me up in their ships. So they were very helpful. So let's say I suffered any physical abuse, they would take me into the ships. They would run an ultraviolet light over me and heal me. So they were very helpful. And when I requested, I said, why did I choose to go through this experience as a child? They told me that I needed to learn what a lot of people go through on this planet, because their parents are just so non-awakened, and they're so shut off from their heart chakras and from themselves, and that's why they're abusive. They've been caught in this loop down here, and I needed to experience that to understand it. So I'm very at peace with it, because it's helped me to grow and understand what's going on this planet, and understand all these children that are suffering. And there's a lot of children that have suffered, abuse, are suffering abuse, and a lot of people have suffered abuse as a child. So that was my choice before I came into this body, was to go through some hardship so that I could understand what's happening on this planet.
How old were you when this started to happen?
Oh, I was really small. Actually I have memories from coming from another realm, coming into this body where I chose that. So it a lot of things happened previously to this incarnation, this lifetime. So that's something that I've experienced. So it probably started when I was like, really young, maybe 3-4 years old. I was finding myself in spaceships with the ETs speaking to me. There were other hybrid children in the spaceships. They were connecting to me. We were talking via emotions, and then we could send like images to each other, so and energy. So this is how we were speaking to each other. And they told me that there actually is a hybridization program going on where they're putting a lot of ET DNA into the children to try to help elevate the consciousness. So I was very young when this happened.
Wow. And so how do you at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 understand and go through this? I mean, did you fully comprehend how big this was?
I did. So they were more my family than my physical human family, and I understood this. So I would speak to them. I felt so at peace and happy in their presence, and I'm definitely different, not from this planet, which I've been very vocal about. And I was more at home with them.
Now, did you go and hang out with your friends and tell them what was going on?
So as a child, I had a lot of, strange things happen. Things moved around me. My mom would catch me speaking to spirits.
Right.
There was a lot of, anomalies happening, so much to the point they thought I was possessed and brought me to get an exorcism. That's how intense it was.
And how did that work out?
Well, you know what? I'm very blessed, because the pastor actually said that he thought I was an angel or something. He brought me some cake and was like, she's okay, and there's nothing wrong with her, and she's very gifted. So he was very nice about it, and he didn't he didn't go through with the exorcism.
Oh, now, and how did your, not to dwell on this, but that's very interesting. How did your parents react to the non-exorcism?
So my mother was quite upset about it.
Right.
But we were, I mean, as a child, the whole family would be abducted at times. I remember this. So I have a lot of memories of that. My mom also, there's a really interesting story with my mom. She was on the Edwards Air Force Base as a child. So she was brought from Europe, from France, and was, she was with actually this guy who was close to Reagan, and he adopted my mom from France and brought her there. So she had a lot of supernatural things going on with her, and she had a lot of abilities. And this is where as I got older, I started researching into the programs that the government runs, because I have had experiences in underground bases and things like that. So my mom knew that she had abilities. She also knew that I had abilities. And as a child, she would tell me to go do different things. Which was quite interesting. She would tell me, okay, use your abilities to do this. So I told her, I was like, I know I can affect the weather. And as a child, she would say, okay, do this or this. And so she was quite aware of it. But at the same time, she was so different because of what happened to her. And I believe that that's why she was very traumatic to us children, that she was totally disconnected, and she almost treated us like it's kind of like we were in the military. She would make us line up. She would make us do things like in a military sort of way, like when she was a child, and the same thing happened to her. Now,
before the contact happens, or how do you know? How is it initiated?
Oh, wow. So, I'd just be walking around and the ETs would appear to me. If my mom was extra, extra vicious to me, and they would come and take me into the ships. And so it was happening every day. And I remember just even waking up at night and seeing like my brothers and sisters floating out the window into the ships. They were taking them through the window,
right,
through the glass, which sounds crazy, into the ships. And that happened to me, perpetually. It still happens to me, of where ETs appear. I wake up in the morning and there's an ET just right there next to my bed and says, okay, we're doing this and this for the planet. This is what's happening. This is your assignment. So, and then they tell me a lot of different secrets of the universe.
Right. And I'm going to stay focused on this for just a minute. But one of the questions that the audience, I know right now, is expecting me to ask at this point, when you say an ET is, appearing in front of you or in your room, can you describe what type of being is showing up?
So I speak to a few different councils. One of the councils, they're actually they're above the ETs, and the ETs they're the beings of ancient light, and the ETs go to that council. They're what I call the main council, and they're from the spirit realm. So I've interacted with over 200 different ET races. So there's a lot of different ETs. So it depends whichever one decides to come in that morning. So sometimes it will be tall gray ETs. Even the reptilians come in. I've encountered the draconians. So there's a lot of different ETs that I've encountered that just appear to me, and they'll speak to me about different things.
I want to stay on this. Man, I got to write this down. I'm going to forget the question. Okay, hold on. I have to do this really. Okay. All right. I saw I've seen many of your presentations, and there was one, and you may remember this, but I found it interesting. You said you arrived at the conference and you got to your room and you were greeted by a being right there at the conference in the hotel room. And you came right downstairs and told the audience about this.
Yes.
Yeah. And what happened?
So every time I travel somewhere, they come with me. Sometimes I've had also abductions in planes where time would stop. They will take me out into their ship, and we'll do different things, and then I'll go back into the ship. So, and when I do conferences, they're very protective of me and my energy. So they'll come, and also the Sasquatch, believe it or not, they'll come in, and they are connected to the ETs. They interact, and they're actually not from this planet. So that happens a lot to me. And there's quite famous artist in the UK called Lloyd Canning. And I was going to a conference there to speak at it. And these beings appeared to me. They were very tall. They almost look like the beings in the movie The Knowing, I think, with Nicolas Cage. I think it's called The Knowing. And they look exactly like that. And they said, you're our kin. They called me their kin. And they said, we're traveling with you. So then I get to the conference, and no kidding, it was so insane, because I got to the conference and Lloyd Cannon's paintings were there of these ETs, the same ones.
Oh, that's what it was.
Encountered.
Yes, his paintings were there. That's right. I remember now. Yes.
And I walked in and I told everyone, I'm like, well, see, I said they're going to be here, and there's paintings of them everywhere. So that was quite impressive of them.
Now, I want to get back to when you were mentioning the windows. And as you can imagine, I've spoken to so many about this subject, and I'm fascinated with it. When your family and you, when you went through the window, did you feel anything physically? Did you feel anything change in your body as you are making this movement through something that should be solid, right?
So it's almost like, so when they bring me to higher frequencies and I have the ability to go into other dimensions, my body goes into like a state of bliss or ecstasy. And it's almost like listening to the most beautiful music that you have ever heard, and it vibrating through your body, this sort of symphony. And then it's like it ascends all space and time and any solid matter. That's how I can, that's the best way, honestly, that I can explain it.
A fuzziness, like an electricity?
A lot of electricity flowing through, but to the point that it's like your entire body feels so blissful.
Right. And what about, did you ever experience rising out of your bed and going through the ceiling and up?
I have not experienced that way. I have when I was younger, I did levitate. I was speaking to these stones, and the stones told me how to place them around my bed, and I levitated. And then what happened is my mother opened the door, and when she opened the door, the noise felt like sharp pain when it hit my energy field, and I collapsed back onto my bed. But no, I mean, I have not went through like that. It's almost like sometimes when I have where I leave or they take me, which I willingly go. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy about it. I just will also almost like teleport from where I'm at to completely inside the ship.
Yeah, that's my next question. Others have spoken about, being led, but they don't remember walking. Right, almost as if they're floating and they're mm-hmm. led through. Same experience for you? Yes.
So either I'll float into the ship,
right,
or I'll like teleport into the ship.
Now, so that's when I'm looking at the clock here. I want to get all of this in before the top of the hour. This is when you were younger. The same experiences are happening today?
Yes. So, and I'm very, open about them. I often post about them on my social media, what the ETs tell me, the messages that they have for humanity. They're telling me a lot of different things that are so important right now on how to heal the earth, how to heal the oceans. So yes, like I said, I wake up in the morning a lot of times and they're standing there. And then sometimes there's envoys from the different councils who join together and will come and speak with me or interact with me.
Now, when so many want to hear, what was it like inside the ship? Did you go anywhere? And I get all of that, and we might get to some of that. But do you ever travel on the ship, or is it just here?
No, so I've traveled to this place where there's these different spheres of energy, and it's almost like ET sort of city, and these spheres are spread out through the universe. So I've traveled with them there. There's also on the moon of Saturn, they have a base. They have different bases on different planets. So I have been to those, and I wouldn't even call them bases. I just say that there's places where they will physically come into the 3D realm on those planets, and they inhabit those planets still to a certain point.
How does the travel must happen instantaneously?
Yes, it's almost like teleporting. And then they told me that they charge the ships. That's why you see them always around the sun, and also in electrical storms. So there's a lot of people who have videos of UFOs appearing in storms where there's a lot of lightning, because they're using that cosmic energy to charge their ships.
So it's possible, and it must be done this way, Sarah. There's no other way to look at it. I've thought about this so much, that their travel, no matter how far the distance is, it's got to be simple. It's got to be easy, and it's got to be quick, and it's got to be now.
It is. It's like teleportation. That's what their ships do. So, and their ships, this isn't the only universe, so their ships can teleport, and sometimes their ships go through black holes into another creation, which I've been there too. I traveled through there. So yeah, it's like teleportation.
Wait. Okay, pump the brakes. Okay, let's back up. Black hole,
Yes. So they said that this universe is. They said that it's kind of in lockdown, because they said that humanity has not ascended enough, so they don't want humanity to get into the other realms and dimensions for now, until humanity ascends and learns how to really start to get connected to the spiritual realms. Then they will be allowed out of this quarantine. So the black holes are there to rip anything apart that should not travel through them, but these black holes are portals into other dimensions and other creation.
So there is a technology to utilize the black holes without getting ripped into a singularity, into nothing.
Yes, so you have to have enough energy charge to actually go through the black hole. If you don't, and it's actually quite ultra dimensional, because if you have enough energy, you can travel through the black hole and it won't rip you apart. But it's almost like passing a stargate, which they are stargates, a lot of them, that it scans you and it sees if you're ascended enough or evolved enough to pass through that gateway. And if you're not, it will kind of, rip anything that's trying to pass that shouldn't pass.
How do you know? I mean, like me, would I be allowed to, I don't know if I'm ascended. Would I be able to pass through? I mean, is there a report card? How do I know? I don't want to
there are actually report cards on everyone. They have files on every single living creature on this planet and every spirit. So this planet is not a physical planet. It's actually a very ancient spirit. So is the ocean. It's an ancient spirit. So are the mountains. That's why you see faces often in mountains. They're ancient spirits that came together to create this 3D planet that we have, so that we could have this 3D physical experience. And anyone can get out of this system. And, there is such a thing as the matrix system that's locked people here, and it's only locked them here, quarantined them here until they evolve more and understand how their 3D physical body, which is divine technology and energy, works. So it's kind of long, and we'll probably get to this in the show, but you have to learn how to bring cosmic energy in. So cosmic energy is what I call God force, God source. It's God. It's not the God of religions, but it's this force that flows through all. When you are full of that enough, then you are allowed to go and travel anywhere that you want to. And a lot of people are not having contact with ETs because their frequency and the charge of energy in their body is so low. And then the charge in ETs are so high that there's no connect there. So that's why they're doing the hybridization program, is to try to reconnect people up who are getting caught in reincarnation loops here and have lost themselves. They're trying to connect them back up to the higher energies so that this planet can ascend.
Is that why, I've got 2 minutes before the break, Sarah. Is that why some people can go out and do a sky watch and see amazing things, and then others that have a negative attitude about, we're not going to see nothing, right? Nothing happens for them, and nothing appears. Is that what you're suggesting? Makes sense to me.
Yes, and the ones who are having these experiences have a higher charge of energy in them. So that higher charge is actually linking them up to these beings who have a higher charge. The people who are really caught in the system, who are closed off, who, they're not being able to connect because of this. So I can open stargates up and ships will appear. And I did that last night for a UFO watch here with Alan and Mark Sims. Alan Steinfeld, that was here a while ago.
Yeah, just saw Alan. By the way, he's just the bomb. I love that guy.
He is. I love him. So we did it last night. There weren't any ships appearing. I immediately went and opened a Stargate, and sure enough, we saw a few ships.
What did you guys see?
Ships appear in the sky.
Well, you can't just say that. I mean, how cool was it?
I think Mark caught some of it on video because I know he was doing a live broadcast on it. They appear here all the time because Sedona is an ancient docking station for them. So this is one of the ancient portals here in Sedona. So it's quite common for everyone, even people who don't believe, to see UFOs here.
And I need to take a break right here, but it was really cool for me to see you and Alan together a few minutes ago. It caught me by surprise. Is he like the coolest dude on planet Earth? I mean, you can just say it right now. Is he still there?
He is actually in my living room. So yeah, he's the coolest guy ever. He's so cool. I'm letting him borrow my Jaguars to drive
right
around.
on. Yeah. Well, those long flowing locks blow in the wind. But Alan is just amazing, and that was really cool. That was a great surprise for me. Well, listen, we need to take a quick break. Let's get that in now. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, the one and only Sarah Adams, is with us. First-time guest, the only way to go. Tomorrow night, right here, Billy Carson. Wednesday night, Tim McMillan of The Debrief. Thursday night, Linda Moulton Howe. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right. 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Sarah Adams. A lot to discuss tonight, a lot to take in just from that first segment. And I just want to, Sarah, I just want to continue the conversation. But there's an interesting part to this. I think there's a dynamic, especially at a young age. How do you, or maybe it's you equate it, how do you know that maybe it's angels? Right? I mean, you know, that are stepping in and helping you with some of the things that you were going on, that was going on with you. Did you think maybe that this was something sent from heaven?
That's a good question right there. And yes, I do also interact with angels. They do exist. Sometimes they sit in with the councils of ETs. They're a different sort of well, how can I put this? They're a spiritual being, whereas the ETs take physical form at times. So they're different, but they do interact.
And how did you figure out the difference? I mean, in a strange way, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Angels are part of the universe, right? Wouldn't that be ET?
I do believe that. Sorry,
I was going to say you understand where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do. And so the angels are definitely a different creation, but they do hold status. They hold their own status. They will often interact with the ETs. Sometimes I will be at council meetings where there's ETs, the Sasquatch, different earth spirits, different cosmic spirits. So, and they join together, and of course they, pass information, and they have different meetings for certain things. So I have interacted with Archangel Michael a lot too. When I was a child, I was sleeping at the foot of my mom's bed. Archangel Michael appeared to me very, very bright, shining, came to me and spoke to me for 4 hours. And what was quite interesting with him is he said to me, adults, a lot of children can see angels, but adults can't because of the dense energies in their aura, which is put in them or keeping them in lower frequencies, so they can't connect to the angels. So then he said, I'm going to let your mother's going to wake up, because I was sleeping at the foot of her bed. Your mother's going to wake up, and she's going to see me. She's going to see me for a couple of seconds, and she's going to ask you a question of why is it when she woke up that she can't, and she saw me, that I disappeared, and tell her it's because her aura is dense, so she cannot connect to the angels. And that's what many adults on this planet, they're not able to connect to the angels, whereas children can connect to the spirits and the ETs and the angels because their aura is much more pure and higher frequency.
Did she wake up and catch a glimpse?
She did, and she asked me the question, and I told her exactly what the angel said.
Was she bummed? Tell me the truth. Was she bummed?
She was quite shocked.
Yeah. I mean, bummed that she didn't get a chance to speak with him or see him.
She saw him briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Then she asked why he disappeared, and I told her it's because he said that adults' auras are dense, and it's because, they've got lost in their lives and they're not doing the energy work to clear themselves. I mean, people go and take showers and baths, and they're washing and cleaning their physical body, but they're not doing that to their energy fields. They're not clearing it. And this is causing a lot of problems on this planet.
What did you find out about ancient Egypt and Atlantis, where there is so much research going into the possibilities that the Atlanteans came to Egypt, many thousands of years before the dynastic side of Egypt rose, and that's where the knowledge came from. We have that side of things, and if you have had a past life experience with this, what can you tell us?
So this is true. And originally, Mars was inhabited, Venus, every planet was inhabited, and each planet is connected to a chakra within us. So Venus is connected to the heart chakra. Saturn is connected to the root chakra. And the whole thing about Satan comes from Saturn, and it represents Saturn. So each planet is connected to a chakra. And originally there were priests and priestesses who were interdimensional. They were interacting with ETs. They were astral projecting, and they traveled among the planets, and they kept the planets tuned up to higher frequencies. There's pyramids on every single planet. There's also pyramids on specific moons. And it's an ancient system that allowed them to tell up these beings before this cataclysm happened, when they were in 3D physical bodies. It allowed them to teleport. It allowed them to travel among the stars, dimensions, and Egypt is certainly the remnants of that. There are many, many different names and labels for this ancient civilization. Atlantis, Lemuria, to just name a few.
And so, do you have conscious memories of these past lives? How did you access them?
So I was actually sent to this planet to help open stargates and to help awaken humanity, because that's the end game for humanity. Yes, so when there was the cataclysm on Mars, then I had sort of a time traveling experience. I went into some other realms before I decided to come into this body. So I've been kind of going in and out of this planet for a little while.
Let's stay right there with time travel. The you that I'm speaking with now, when you suggest these other places, is it still the you that I'm speaking with now? or is there a time travel element to that, to going to the past, in the distant past?
That's that's an intense question. So like the other day, I went to go to sleep, and instead I was in a ship, and we traveled to the 1950s, of where we were instructed to go ahead and clear that timeline of a lot of dense energies that would then reflect upon this timeline and help to release higher energies into this timeline, because they told me that previous timelines where there's been war, destruction, suppression are actually pulling light from this timeline. So we needed to go back and channel light into those timelines so that it affects this timeline. So that's what the ETs did. It was a couple of days ago they did that with me. So I will travel with them in timelines like that, or sometimes I will be in this body and have a life like in the Victorian times, or like in ancient. I know I often don't remember what day it is or what hour it is. This is a huge problem in my life, and I'm very lucky to have a team that keeps me on track, because I will find myself almost there at the same time as I'm in this physical body. So I kind of see time different than how humanity sees it.
Help me understand how you started to understand how to deal with this. It's got to be confusing, right?
Not for me, because I'm different and I'm aware of how things work. So even let's say, so Saturn, okay, projects time and reality. The rings on Saturn actually project the time and reality we are living in right now. So Saturn often speaks to me. It's an ancient spirit, and I can go through Saturn into past lifetimes or past timelines. So I also work doing that sort of time travel. That's something. And like one time I was having a very hard time with merging a better timeline on this planet with the ETs. And I pulled myself from the future of when I was more into my abilities with doing that, and switched myself up briefly. So I pulled in my future self, did what I needed to do, and then switched back into the present now self.
When this happens, let's go back to the 1950s, right? And a couple of days ago, when that occurs, do people see you?
So that's that's a good question, because so when I was younger and this was happening, I was actually with my sister in the kitchen, and I remember being zapped by a violet light back into my body. I had been gone for a year's Earth time, but when I came back into my body, it was doing dishes. So this is my theory. There was just enough of my energy to keep my body alive and to function. And the major part of me went and traveled and was somewhere else. So that's my theory of how it works, just from personal experience.
Right. Okay, so my question, I guess, is, if you went back to the 1950s to do some light work, I totally get that and I understand it. What I'm referring to is, in that timeline, can you interact with those that are there in the 1950s? Can they see you? Can you see them?
So I often have what I call body jumping experiences. I will find myself in another body in a specific timeline, do what I need to do, and as soon as that's finished, I'm suddenly back in my body. So I was telling this to a person that's close to me, and they actually showed me this show. I think it's maybe in the 80s, and he kind of jumps into different bodies, achieves his mission, and then arrives back into his original body. Right. So it almost happens like that. Right. Oh, it's called Quantum Leap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah.
So, so sometimes it's your mind that goes, right?
It's more my. Okay, so we have a body, but it's mostly my soul energy that goes. And I learned this a long time ago. So I've had different ET bodies, different incarnations, and I often say I'm immortal, and people kind of are stunned at this. What I mean is I'm aware that I'm beyond this body, and this body's just like putting on clothes. So it's my energy field goes to another timeline and travels like that.
And
my soul.
Are there others like you on Earth, like right now? I mean,
from what I understand, they said that I'm one of the few, but they did say that there were hybrid children, and I've ran into a couple of different people who have some similar abilities as me.
Right.
But they did tell me that a lot of them, when they came to Earth, that either the government had done some pretty awful things to them to try to exploit them, because the government wants to, as much as they want to travel to Mars and the different planets, they also want to interdimensional travel and find out the secrets of the ETs and the spirit realms. So they targeted these children. That's what I was told. So they said some of the children that were like me didn't survive and actually went they went crazy, or they died because it was too much for them. They were feeling too much, and then they were experiencing too much. They couldn't handle it in a 3D body. And also the government had targeted them, which caused them a lot of pain, and they just terminated their physical life here.
Now, would you recognize, or would you know if you met somebody else like yourself?
Yes, so I could see the codes. They're almost
Right.
like hieroglyphs or sigils in their aura, and they carry these codes. And I also can feel their frequency. So sometimes I have some friends who are somewhat a bit similar to me, and we can hear each other's thoughts. So that's something that happens with us, or we can feel when we need to charge each other's organs, or even if we need to go on a specific mission. So we'll get out of our bodies and go do that at times. So there's a group of other people who are they're hybrids too. They're non-humans who know they have abilities, and they do these sort of things too.
I think that Alan Steinfeld's an ET. I'm just letting you know right now. Have you,
Yes.
have you
Yes,
picked up
that's why
on
we
it?
get along so good.
Yeah, he's got a sigil or two hanging above his head. That is for sure. But, because there was so much talk today that the hybrid program and hybrid, or however you want to classify this, it's been in the background in our community. Today, this is a subject that is really, really starting to take hold. Is this a program? I mean, with all of the people that are coming forward and talking about it, this is a worldwide situation, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there are two hybrid programs actually that are running. One is a governmental hybrid program of where they've collected DNA from the ancient Egyptian mummies, from specific animals, from ETs, from different beings, and they're creating hybrid children. And there's also the ET program that's running. And the ET program that's running isn't for power. It's just simply to help humanity ascend. The government that's running these programs, it's actually just to achieve more power and to get into other realms so that they can exploit it. So there's two different programs that are running when it comes to hybridization.
With there are, and I kind of share this view somewhat, that we can talk about nice ETs and kind ETs and helping this planet, but coming here and participating in a human hybridization program is not cool, right? I mean, that part of that doesn't sound like a kinder, gentler ET.
Well, think about it. People are so lost and disconnected from the cosmic force, which is God's source. And they're falling into lower frequencies. That's causing them to be sick. That's causing them to be depressed and lost. It's causing them to exploit each other. So it's actually, for me, a beautiful gift, because they come down and that DNA holds so much light in it and a higher frequency, and they're willingly passing the light via those genetics to humanity to help lift them out of that hole so that they can ascend back into their God selves, into their power. So, it's a beautiful gift for me. And I know that a lot of people's higher selves are okay with this. and they give the go ahead, and it happens, and then they access those higher energies, and then they're like me, they'll speak out about the ETs and things like that. And they want this reconnect to happen. It's like humanity has such a disconnect going on right now. They're disconnected from their souls, they're disconnected from each other. Without that happening on this planet, and by the way, the ETs are the council above the ETs come from God source. They're like pure God source energy. They're the beings of ancient light. They're instructing the ETs what to do in the physical realm, since the ETs can reach the physical realms, to do this to help humanity ascend. Because if they left it the way it is right now, people would destroy themselves.
The races that you mentioned 200. I think that's a low. I think that's a low number. And the reason why, I mean, just in our Milky Way alone, the Milky Way is ginormous. People don't understand really how big it is. The universe is huge. We get that, full of a trillion galaxies or more. But our Milky Way is huge. Is the interaction that you're having, are those civilizations just from our Milky Way, or do they come from further out in the universe?
Some of them are from other realms, other cosmos. Yes. There is also what I call mare universes. They come from there. So, and some of them are coming from a sister universe that I interact a lot with and I've explored. They're coming through those different ways. So
you're suggesting physicists today, a lot of them are talking about the multiverse and parallel worlds, and certainly in the quantum world, the mathematics suggests that all of this does exist. It's hard to measure it, and we haven't been able to prove it yet, but the multiverse is part of our reality. So when you say sister universe, that's what you're referring to is a multiverse, another universe like ours?
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
So,
you first.
In that universe, I'll have other lifetimes that are simultaneously going on at the same time, and I'll have children. I have children, so I've had those experiences.
Well, yeah, and I find this so incredibly fascinating, where you have a leading physicist in the world that would say, Sarah, there are infinite versions of you, right?
That's true.
Yeah, every possibility of you exists, right? Every possibility. Right. So that's what you're talking about.
Exactly. And I found out that I could go into those other lifetimes that are happening at the same time as this lifetime and download knowledge or wisdom from them. And even when I say, Mars, even though you see it like it's been destroyed, there's also a timeline where it hasn't, and I'm living there, and I can just travel wherever I want like that. And that's what I do quite a bit.
Now, can you help me? There's one thing, and I study this, Sarah. I study it. Help me understand where the infinite versions of me are. Physically, they have to be there, right? They have to be. So that takes up a lot of space. If there's infinite versions of me, and I believe that there is, I just want to know where they are. I mean, where did they exist?
So, we're eternal and immortal, and very few have understood this. They have tapped into that. Once you tap into that, you don't fear death. You don't fear anything. You know that you're eternal because God's eternal, and you are a part of God. This magnetic, this energy, this magnetic force that flows through everything, and you're having these different experiences, and you wind up understanding they're beautiful experiences because it's just an experience. So, the way I access it is I bring my energy filled up. When I bring my energy filled up by channeling in cosmic light, then I experience going to those other bodies and lifetimes. Anyone can do that. I actually teach my clients how to do this, and they time travel to different places, or they access different lifetimes, sometimes in Atlantis and Egypt. So it's quite easy to do once you understand how it works.
You could teach me.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Now, I am going to Egypt this March, coming up a year from now in 2022. I'm so looking forward to getting out of the United States. It's not even funny. But I'm going to go to Egypt. What will I be able to connect? I feel a connection to Egypt. Am I going to walk around and find myself?
So first you have to die and be reborn again. And I know this might sound very insane, but when Christ in the Bible said that one should die and be born again, it didn't mean to physically die. It means to go into your cells. Your cells are like solar panels. They hold energy. To go and clear out your cells, tell your organs, your cells, your entire system, to delete, just like you would delete on your computer, delete all the old energies, delete the karmic energies, delete out the ancestral karma, to clear all that. Then you start to gather cosmic energy, and you channel that into your organs, into your cells. So you're removing your old energetic body and creating a new light body. Once that happens, that's the death, the spiritual death and rebirth. Then you can tap into things. If you tried, and I was warning people about this, when you go to holy sacred sites where there's a lot of energy, you must do that beforehand, because otherwise it'll bring up all of the dense blockages, and you'll be hit with the dark night of the soul. And this is what they meant in the Bible by not to. They said to them, the priest said, "Don't look at the Ark of the Covenant. There's so much light coming from it. You'll want to look," but people would drop dead because it'd bring up all their karmic blockages, all the blockages right away, that it would cause their bodies just to fail. So when I was in Egypt, the year we were at the last year we were at the Conscious Life Expo, I remember seeing you. I went to Egypt I flew out to Egypt right after that. And I went to these sacred sites. And first of all, the sarcophagus they regenerate people. If they put sick people in sarcophagus, or a healthy person, you will actually regenerate. And this is how they were living for hundreds of years. They had these, what the pyramid does, it channels cosmic energy from the cosmos down, and it would channel it into the middle of the earth to keep the frequency of the earth up. So we were in a higher frequency. There was no desert there. It was all flourishing like the jungle. And not only that, the sarcophagus, it was kind of this divine energetic, cosmic energetic system, because the hieroglyphs are actually would channel the energy into the sarcophagus and regenerate the entire energy field, all the cells, the organs which run off of energy. So this is an ancient site where only those who had cleared their energies should go to. And so when I was there, that's what Sekhmet, she appeared to me and she said, they have all these tourists coming here. And she said that this is holy ground. This is a holy space. Not everyone should be allowed. Only people who do the work or people who need healing should be allowed here.
Sekhmet, that's my favorite goddess right there. That's my favorite one. Let's take our break. That's pretty incredible. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Sarah Adams. So much to discuss. We'll continue everything when we come back after this short break. Her Twitter is up in our Twitter feed. You can go and follow Sarah right now. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. This is Jimmy Church, and I'll be at the UFO MegaCon this June 6th through the 12th, 2021 in Laughlin, Nevada. The Laughlin UFO MegaCon is unique. It's 7 days of education and disclosure. It's unlike all other UFO conferences. The Laughlin UFO Mega Conference specializes in bringing you new people, offering new information and disclosure. All of this is offered at prices so low you can actually afford to be there. For instance, 7-night hotel packages, 1 or 2 people, start at just $320 inclusive. Education and disclosure is why the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference exists. Join us for all 7 days, or a half a week, or just a day or 2, but join us. Go to LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com. Register now. The only thing keeping you from being with all of us is you. Daily live streaming now available worldwide. It's this June 6th through the 12th. Just go to LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com. Fadernauts. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Sarah Adams. More with Sarah in just a second. Right now, I want to talk to you about Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield VPN. Everybody needs their own VPN. You need your privacy. That's it. That's what's going on in our world today. I run a very large studio. I've got lots of computers. I'm in a secret location, and nobody knows where I'm at. Nobody's going to find me, and they're not going to find me through my ISP. And they certainly don't know about my search traffic. It's a wonderful world. It is, with Virtual Shield, it's a world of a strict no-log policy. That's it. There is nothing there with your search traffic. Number 2, encrypted servers all over the world. That's what you need to back you up. You need your own VPN. And it's all simple to do today, right now. Click on the link in the video description box below. Virtual Shield VPN's right there. Click. You can also type into your browser, virtualshield.com/fade to black. All of that is going to get you 50% off of Virtual Shield today. Get your own VPN, get private, get secure, get Virtual Shield VPN. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black, and coming up June 6th through the 12th is UFO MegaCon. I'm going to be there. So are you, Sarah. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited. I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be speaking about the ETs as usual.
And how great is it to finally start to see people face to face?
It's amazing. I love it. I love that everybody's starting to open up to these things, especially since COVID. I feel like a lot of people were stuck in their homes, and they're they're coming out and they're researching these things, and we're gonna have a new level of awakening because they are watching our videos, our podcast, and getting informed.
Well, that's so true. And if you think about it, you brought up you and I at Conscious Life Expo last year in February. It's hard to believe that was over a year ago. And, 10, 15,000 people were there. Great, amazing conference. We had such a great time. 2 weeks later, the world was on lockdown. It was the last time all of us got together, and it's been over a year. It's just incredible that much time has passed by.
I'm shocked. I had right after the Conscious Life Expo, I flew out to Egypt, to Israel, and then I literally barely got back into the country before they closed the borders and closed everything down.
It happened so quick. I'm glad at least we had one last hurrah, right, at the Conscious Life Expo, because it was such a great time, so much fun. Now, I want to shift gears just a little bit and talk about spirituality and consciousness. And we've talked a lot about physics tonight and the universe and the multi-universe and time travel. All of this stuff is related. But science today, physicists who will talk about the multiverse, they and things and parallel worlds and entanglement, but they're in total denial when it comes to spirituality or consciousness or what consciousness even is, because they can't measure it. We've got a problem here. The universe is a magical place, isn't it? Spirituality and consciousness have everything to do with science.
That's true. And, they're discovering that energy exists. They just don't understand, I think, yet that the reason that we're alive and these bodies function is because that energy is condensed, that cosmic energy, that energy that flows through nature, through the oceans, it's condensed within us. And I do believe that they will discover that in the near future, and humanity will understand that they have a soul, and then they'll start to understand that they're way more than this physical reality and this physical body that their soul lives in for a certain amount of time.
How does the communication happen? Is this entanglement? Is this part of physics and science where this communication can happen through vast distances of space, but it seems to happen in real time? If you're communicating, right, you're communicating with somebody at a great distance, but there isn't a delay, right? You don't have a delay when somebody is communicating with you or vice versa.
No, it's specifically like with spirits, with ETs, there is no delay because everything is energy. So the instant that I think it and I want to speak to them, they instantly hear it, feel it, experience it, whatever I want to send to them, and vice versa.
Now, would you call is this channeling in the classic sense of what people understand channeling is?
I sometimes use that term to help out people that follow me to understand what I'm doing better. But honestly, I live my life in this knowing, instant knowing. It's not channeling. I just know because I'm tapped into God consciousness, that force of energy. So I don't think that could be labeled. Well, it possibly could be labeled as channeling. I just know I don't sit there and have to wait for something to come through. I just know.
And how easy is it to flip that switch? Like if you and I, not now on the show, Sarah, I'm not suggesting that, but if you and I are somewhere and we're hanging out, could you communicate to them for me just because I asked?
Yes, I can. And I actually can get you to connect to them. and they will come into your dreams. They also will take you up into ships. They will telepathically communicate with you, and you'll start to feel when I open what I call a Stargate up, when they come through to work on the people that I work with, people either see them, see a vision of them, they feel their energy, they feel it like pulsing through their body. So yes, that's what I do for a lot of people. And then eventually I teach them how to speak to the ETs themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they go off and do that. And I have a lot of my clients around the world who are doing this.
Now, are you able to ask questions?
I am able to ask questions to them. Sometimes I ask them for people around me. But I also prefer to connect the person themselves to the ET so that they can ask the questions that they want to ask to that ET.
Now, and there are certain historical events that have happened in the past, and there's even modern events and headlines that are going on today. I actually want to discuss some of that now. But have you ever been able to say, hey, Roswell, what's up? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you been able to do stuff like that?
Yes. And the ETs told me that the government did not sign a contract with them, but rather signed a contract with a fallen force that can take physical form and take different forms, that shapeshifts. And they signed a contract with this fallen ancient force, this same force that came through on Mars, which created the wars on Mars. So they said that they have no contracts with the American government or governments around the world, that the contracts that these governments have are actually with a force that is quite an ancient force that eats light, and it is a force that they have time traveled to learn how to master.
Now, and here we have today all of these videos that are coming out of the Pentagon. You've seen them all. There's another leak that happened a couple of weeks ago showing air quote, flying pyramids. Is this stuff ET? Or
yes,
it is?
Yes, so there is a lot of ET ships, and it's easy to find a lot of videos of them. There is also government ships, and the government, what they do is they have technology that actually brings the frequency of the ship down. When the frequency of the ship comes down, it solidifies. It will then crash, and then they pick up the remains of that ship, and they bioengineer it to steal the technology.
Very interesting. So did you see the recent flying pyramids video that came out a couple of weeks ago?
I have not, but I have been in pyramid ships, and they spin very quickly. And when they spin, then they can just teleport from one place to another place. From what I was told, the ancient pyramid of Giza is one of these ships that it literally solidified into physical matter, and that's what you see there today. But it used to have gold around it, and it was put there. It comes from another dimension. It's an interdimensional ship, and it was put there specifically to help charge the planet frequency wise.
There's so much talk right now with the exploration of Mars. Certainly we have the Perseverance rover up there. We have Ingenuity, the helicopter, flying around on Mars. Pretty incredible. And Elon Musk wants to get to Mars in the next few years. He's aggressively pursuing that. Is there a chance that Perseverance is going to find signs of life on Mars, and we're going to get some kind of announcement? Would Elon Musk show up on Mars and see evidence of a prior civilization?
I refuse to speak on Elon because there is an agenda there, but I respect what the ETs, that they don't want me to speak on for now. They are very protective of the ancient spirits, and they will not let them be used. The ancient spirits, the planets. So they also, just like they hide their bases in a force field, so you can look at a mountain and there could be an ET base there and you wouldn't see it because it's hidden in a force field. So it's in another dimension. The same thing with life on other planets. They have that completely hidden mostly so that humanity doesn't access it because they do not consider humanity evolved enough on a spiritual level to they don't consider them evolved enough, so they don't want them accessing their civilizations.
Well, so you don't think that there's a chance? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, but you don't think that there's a chance that Perseverance is going to see something? There's going to be an accident and something is going to be seen that probably shouldn't?
Unless those force fields are completely shut down, for the civilizations that are on these planets and other dimensions to appear, I don't believe so. And that's done on purpose for now. Now, when humanity evolves and when they understand how energy works and how their planet works and how they should channel in cosmic energies and light up their DNA and light up themselves, then they will be allowed to reconnect to other life in other dimensions and the ETs. And that's what they have told me.
And so many today, I kind of feel it too. I'm not speaking for everybody, but that we possibly are in the days of disclosure. Everybody's talking about it, right? Everybody is talking about where we are today. This report and things that are going down right now between our military and the Senate Intelligence Committee in this report that's supposed to be published and revealed this June, many are hopeful that this report is going to discuss ETs. Is it too much? Is it too soon? Do you think that there's disclosure from our government that's going to be coming out in the next, maybe even this year?
The government is in a war against the ETs because they know the ETs are coming here to help out humanity. They won't ever disclose this about the ETs. In fact, if you do your research, the CIA was involved with many of the ET movies that were put out for the last 20 plus years.
Sure.
Every single movie shows they're evil, they're bad, because they're trying to program humanity that aliens are bad and negative and want to come here to invade or destroy humanity. They don't want you to think that, hey, there might be other beings that exist and they will help you out of this oppressive, suppressive exploitation that's going on this planet. So they're not going to come out and say, hey, ETs exist. Most likely if they do, they're going to try to act like they're negative or bad because they don't want you to know that you might just get the aid that you need. And this will help to release you from these oppressive governments that are exploiting billions of people across this planet.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's going on. That's a very smart take on this. But there's another part where I feel, I would love to hear your opinion. I feel that the planet is now the planet, not the governments, right? People are talking about this now, Sarah. People are talking about ET. Science is talking about this, the discovering, the search of, and we're seeing things daily in the skies that simply can't be explained away. I think people are pretty used to it now. Could there be something out of the government's control for this type of disclosure that may happen?
Of course. I mean, no matter what technology that the governments on this planet steal, it's very primitive to what ancient beings who travel time and space, who are aligned to cosmic energy, which is God, have. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a losing game in the end, and they're going to see that.
The audience didn't, if you don't mind, Sarah, I'm going to describe you for a second. Sarah was smiling and then went full serious. Of course, right? You went full serious because that has to be the best explanation.
They also told me that the elite leaders on this planet will be removed. They said they're going to bring the dark night of the soul upon those who have exploited the people on this planet. And their shadows, which means the things that they have done to harm the masses, are going to come out into the public so the public can actually understand that their leaders are doing some very terrible things behind the scenes. So they said that they're going to bring all this out so that humanity can see that they have leaders that are not on their side and leaders that are just exploiting them and using them and suppressing them. So they said that in the near future that leaders will not be elected according to their status or wealth, but how connected they are to their spirit and the cosmos and the energies of the divine.
Is the planet ready? How close are we? I like to say that we're like 21 years old, still getting our yayas out, right? We're not quite adults.
You know what? It's sometimes I have these experiences where I feel the entire planet and feel the souls of those struggling, and I can feel them crying and hear them crying out. The same thing happens with these higher beings. And because they can help, they are doing so and will do so. So no, enough of humanity is, they're pleading for this to change, so that change will come rather sooner than later.
Now, what, in the short time that we have left before we hit the break, there are those in our UFO community and outside too that are expecting ET to come and save us, right? That's not the best way to look at this, is it?
No. So the ETs will keep atomic war from happening. They're going to keep more wars like World War II from happening. This is what they told me. In fact, they said since World War II that all leaders upon this planet, they allow only certain leaders that will not cause big wars. So they changed timelines, including our last presidential election. They said that one president, he was going to win, but they changed the timeline so he didn't, because they said that he would cause mass chaos. And they showed me his past timelines and lives of where he created a lot of war. So they said he would do it in the second term. So he was elected, but then they switched the timeline to one where he wasn't elected. So they told me that they actually are taking care of this while humanity awakens more and more. So they're making sure anything major doesn't happen, but they want people to step into their power. They want people to understand that they're powerful, and when they connect to their souls, they can speak to the oceans, and the oceans will transmute that pollution and heal, and the skies, and that they can heal their planet and themselves. So, and ascend back into their God selves. So this is what the ETs tell me. They are there helping us along, but they will not majorly come in until we do the work ourselves.
Now, what about the pandemic? What does ET have to what do they have to say about that and what we went through in the last 14 months?
So one, the pandemic was purposely done because of the fact that the shadows, that's where we had certain people coming out in elite areas, that they were exploiting underage children and things like that. The pandemic was done to deter attention away from that. So nobody talks about it anymore. You're not hearing about that anymore. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to deter attention away from that. So that's one of the reasons I believe that the pandemic was done, and the reasons I was told that the pandemic was done. And I was also told that, disease, that comes from anytime. We can only get sick if we have negative karma, if we have toxins in us. If we don't have those things within us, we can't get sick. That's what they told me. So I never get sick ever. I don't get the cold, the flu. I haven't been sick ever. And they said that's because I keep my energies higher. So disease only happens in a person who is lower frequency. When you go into higher frequencies, you don't get sick anymore. So that's only happening to humanity because they're in lower frequencies. Any sickness, diseases, ill health, depression, things like that, it's only happening because you're in a lower frequency.
Is the pandemic going to end? I'm asking. I'm hoping you have some information on this. Here in the United States, we're in a downward trend. It's looking pretty good for us here, but it's not the same situation around the world right now. And you look at what's going on in India. I don't even want to think about their population is so thick and dense, and it's really taken off. But the numbers around the world are increasing. Here in the United States, it's starting to look pretty good. But I'm wondering if there's an end in sight. Do you know anything?
So this happened around the time of COVID, right before it. I was in Denver, which Denver is a gate, the den. It's a gate to the underworld. There's different gates around the planet to different realms. And there was a lightning storm that was happening. I immediately suddenly was out of my body above Denver. And there was this horseman, and he called himself the spirit of disease and death. And I said to him, thou shalt not pass, because I am an ancient guardian of different portals. I said, thou shalt not pass to him. And he said, I will not, because you have no karma. I will not affect you or those you love. But he said, humanity has summoned me, because the dense energies that they have not processed has summoned me to them. So I can pass. He passed, and then after that, COVID happened. There are spirits, and they're connected to disease, and we attract them when we don't clear our energy field, when we don't take care of our bodies. Humanity has attracted this to themselves because they have not taken care of the planet. They have not taken care of Mother Nature. They have not taken care of their energy fields. So it's karmic. So as soon as they learn how to clear their energies, disease will disappear off of this planet. And so they're having a dark night of the soul right now until they understand to actually get in touch with their energy fields and to clear their planet of dense energies. And these dense energies are drawing these things to it.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Sarah Adams. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about our bodies and the future health of all of us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard, available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
Gold loves chaos, uncertainty, and disarray. History shows us what gold does when people aren't sure about the government, the stock market, their jobs, or their retirement savings. Our national debt is skyrocketing. Gold and other precious metals are a defense measure against inflation and a stock market that might take years to recover. So what can you do right now to protect yourself? Call United Gold Group. We offer gold and other precious metals delivered securely within 72 hours. Are you worried about the stock market? We can also help you set up a real gold or silver IRA or a 401k. Safe and secure. United Gold Group makes gold ownership affordable. Call now and get up to $2,500 in free gold or silver with a qualified IRA. Call 800-753-8534. That's 800-753-8534 or visit UnitedGoldGroup.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Sarah Adams. What a great dynamic conversation tonight. I expected this. I want to shift things though, and I want to talk about health and Sarah. Look, I'm not young anymore. I do the best that I can. I've given up all of the fun things. I've given up all the fun stuff. And I try to take care of myself the best that I can. But there are certain things I'm not going to give up. I'm just not going to do it. They make me happy, right? That's it. They make me happy. I'm not going to fully disclose what those things are. But what can we? Haagen-Dazs. I'm not giving up Haagen-Dazs. You know, we were just talking about, you know,
there's some great organic ice creams nowadays. So.
I bet there are. You enjoy them. You enjoy them. And I only say that because I've noticed the change in myself physically over the last 10 years when I started to give up things that I thought were harmless. But I've seen the changes. What can we do? All of us. I mean, we all want the best advice when it comes to this, but our bodies are our temples, right? And we're only here for a little bit. We need to take care of them. How do we do it?
So one, I would suggest a heavy metal detox. And I'm going to explain about this. It's going to take me a couple of minutes.
Sure.
But it's quite in depth. So one, in chemtrails, they are spraying us with heavy metals. There's heavy metals in deodorant. There's heavy metals even in foods, in baby formula, in vaccinations. Some people might argue that, but yes, there's heavy metals in vaccinations. There's heavy metals everywhere. And what's happening is those heavy metals are getting into our bodies into our cells. Now, our cells are solar panels, and the ancient Egyptians understood how this worked. This is why they were sun worshipers. They would gather the cosmic energy of the sun. It would go through their cells, and it would charge their aura and their chakra system. So then, by keeping that charged, it would keep them in higher frequencies. Nobody's charging nowadays, so everyone they're functioning at such a low state of energy that they're almost like the walking dead. And plus, what's happening is the heavy metals gets into the cell and like a mirror reflects the light out, which keeps us from charging. So I believe that there's a war on consciousness going on, and that's why they're putting heavy metals into everything to block our cells from charging our auric field and our chakra system and keep that energy from flowing through our cells and mirroring it back out. On top of this, instead of putting a microchip in somebody, the best way to connect them into the satellite system is to make them a walk-in cell phone tower, basically. So you have metals in all of your cells, and they can connect to you, and via that, they can see everything about you and even affect your energy field. So this is something that I have been told by the ETs. It's something that I have experienced with people. I've noticed just detoxing them from heavy metals, suddenly there's more cosmic energy that flows through them, and they just start to awaken. I do believe that a lot of people are asleep because they're full of toxins, and the government knows that this is one of the best ways to keep consciousness down is by putting toxins in our bodies to keep our frequencies down.
How do we do a heavy metal detox?
So I actually did quite a bit of research and kind of used myself as a guinea pig for this, by the way. And at one point I went around about it the wrong way, because you have to be able to get the metals out without it recirculating in your blood and getting back to your brain and everything else once they're dislodged. So I found out the best way after some trial and error was to use EDTA capsules, and to start with EDTA capsules. You can get them at places like Swanson.com for like $10. They're quite cheap. Use liquid bentonite clay and psyllium husk powder. You take the EDTA that makes the cells basically vomit the heavy metals, and then the magnetic pull of the bentonite clay absorbs it with the fiber of the psyllium husk and pulls it to it, and then you can rid it out of your system.
And how long does this process take? Is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a weekday? Is it a month?
No. So sometimes I recommend doing this for up to 3 months. Heavy metals are hard to get rid of. Some people who are sick and ill, they need to do it up to sometimes 6 months to a year, if not plus.
I was speaking with somebody earlier today about heavy metal detox. Very interesting that we brought this up tonight. And what about foods?
Well, I do a lot of juicing of green vegetables. I do a lot of gut healing protocols, gut healing foods. It's important that your system is functioning at your physical system is functioning in a healthy manner, so that when you do energy work, that energy just doesn't pass through you, but the cell actually holds the charge of energy. A lot of people that are in this field, they bring in the energy, but the body can't contain it because their cells are already bogged down by heavy metals and different toxins, so it can't hold that energy, which just passes through them. So you'll see people go get Reiki. They feel better for a couple of hours. Their body, though, their cells are toxic, can't hold that charge, so the energy just kind of passes through them. So you want to get your cells healthy of where, when the energy comes in, it can contain and maintain that energy.
And now there's how many of your clients and people that come to you are having issues, and then you find out that a lot of it is completely diet based. It may be the atmosphere, it may be what you're breathing, it could be pollution, it could be, but it's diet based. And some people get away with it that are still healthy with, like Alan Steinfeld. Alan eats In-N-Out every single day. I've caught him eating In-N-Out, but he looks great. And most people don't know he's 200 years old, right? And, and they don't know that. Some people get away with it. Why is that?
Well, some people too, they can process it easier than others.
Right.
A lot of people it's affecting in a negative way. Basically, if you eat dead food, you are what you eat. So if you're eating food that has no charge of energy in it, that's eventually going to affect you on some level.
Right.
So, and this is what the ancients knew, and that's why they ate specific foods, but more than just eat specific foods, they brought in cosmic energies that regenerated their cells and rejuvenated their body. So it's all about how much your food contains energy is the level of consciousness you will be at. So if you're eating a high frequency diet, that's going to help your body be at higher frequencies and you'll be in a higher level of consciousness. So yes, food is very important, and it's either going to help you elevate or it's going to tear you down and break you down.
And for those that start to make the transition, do they understand the transition is happening, or sometimes it's so gradual that they have to go, oh, wait a minute, 6 months ago I was a disaster, right? I guess these changes are taking effect, right? So many want a miracle overnight. They want to cleanse tonight and they're going to be fine in a couple of days. But it's not that kind of party, is it?
Exactly. And I tell people, I'm like, you spent years tearing down your body. And so it's important to have the patience in building it back up. But, you know, if you switch right up to a healthy diet right away, your body's going to become super happy. Your cells are going to become super happy. And you're definitely going to feel better emotionally, physically, spiritually. And it can happen quite quickly. With my clients, it happens quite quickly. It doesn't take more than 3 weeks to see a lot of positive changes. And I have them do the energy work with ETs, work with interdimensional beings, connect to the different spirits, channel in energy into their organs, and do a healthy diet while doing what I call like a very subtle detox. So that subtle detox removes what it needs without stressing the body out, and they see the changes quite quickly. And that's why I have thousands of testimonials on my website.
Have you been doing this your entire life?
I have, but before I came into this field, I was doing work. I was running a jewelry business with my aunt. So I was really good at that. But then I came into this field and, at a certain part in my life, I just was like, wow, this is intense. Going into the public, talking about these experiences. And I almost left it. And then the ETs told me not to. And I had some supportive people who told me not to. So I decided to continue on until I got to this point where I'm helping out a lot of people. But I've always, since I was younger, I was always able to help out people, to help out their lives, for them to become healthier, for them to become more spiritual, for them just to clear energies, and even heal them. So I help them to heal. So that's something I've always done.
So the other part of this, if we can figure out as a planet that everybody is equal here, everybody's equal. And I think about those that don't have what I have, right? Maybe they can't go to school, or they can't eat, or everybody on this planet should have an equal opportunity at everything. And we're not there yet, are we? Why is it? I think about this like today, and I'm being very serious, Sarah. Bill and Melinda Gates get a divorce, right? One of the richest men in the world. I don't care about the foundation. I don't care about how much money is given away. A couple like Bill and Melinda Gates have the ability to feed everybody on this planet for decades, right? And nobody does it. I don't get it. There's all of this money that is accumulated by the very few, and they have the ability to fix everything, and nobody does it. Why is that?
Well, humanity needs to take some self-responsibility for that, because they are allowing leaders and people, to have money or status to exploit them. They're voting them into office. They're allowing them to do this. And for me, this is a lesson for them. And they have to go through this of experiencing just how bad this is, so they can stand up and ascend into their God creator power and say enough is enough, and we are not doing this anymore. And I have so much compassion on those who are suffering across the world, who are starving, who are really, really suffering. And I'm going to say this, that, you know, when people start to understand that they can bring their frequency up by asking the cosmic God source energies to come into them, they'll start to create better, more positive timelines where they heal, where they have whatever they need. I do this for myself, and I'm very successful in life. I bring in the energies and I create what I need to create for myself, and then I'm able to help others. Once humanity figures out they have this inner power that is eternal, that it's above all of the suppression that they're going through, and they tap into that, then they're going to go ahead and use that to shift the planet. And these leaders and these people who exploit them will just fade away.
This is fade to black. I like the way you did that. I like the way you did that right there. But here's the other part, though. I feel that for the first time in history, it's never been like this before. The first time in history where we are able to look at other countries, other people, everybody going through this all at the same time. There was no country spared in the last 12 months. Nobody was spared. And this is the opportunity we have to understand that other people matter too. It's not just you. It's not you and your little bubble. That this is an opportunity for us to understand that we can go through this because we never experienced this before. We were afraid of it. We thought that it could possibly happen, but it did. Is this the opportunity for us to love one another and come together as a planet finally?
It is the opportunity for that. And we need to understand that homeless person on the street, their energy field affects us. We are all listening on some level or tapping into each other's emotions and energy fields and thoughts. So that person across the world who's dying of starvation affects us on some level or another. So we need to understand this. So we need to start to care about those suffering across the world more. And we need to take action to try to help out each other in our local communities, to help out the elderly, the handicapped, those who are struggling, and do things like that. And then also we need to go ahead, step into our divine power within ourselves. And once we do, you know, the world's going to become a better place, and we're not going to have the suppression and oppression on it no more. We're not going to have starvation. We're not going to have disease and destruction and wars.
Do you anticipate, if we make the changes that I think that we're all going through now, I think we're starting to realize how precious this planet actually is, right? I think we took advantage of it for a long time. But I think we're starting to realize that now. If we do initiate these changes, and I hope that we do, is this an opportunity for our ET brothers and sisters to look at us a little bit differently? Because right now, Sarah, you brought up the CIA and films and the media and the negativity that is projected out there. And now we have the Space Force, right? And this planet has always been, you know, shoot first, ask questions later. ET knows this, right? ET knows how we act here.
Yes. And that's why they're locked into this quarantine, this matrix system, until they act better. As for Space Force, it's weak. It's to me, I don't even think about it because it has no power, and it's absolutely ridiculous. We don't need any Space Force to protect us from the ETs. We can barely protect us incarnated in bodies, or people. Humanity can't even protect themselves from their terrible governments.
Right.
I mean, we don't need, that's not anything that's relevant to me. you know, that's the ultimate divine plan for humanity, is for them to heal and reconnect to their divine kin in the other dimensions and in the cosmos.
So we do make the transition, hopefully sooner than later. Is this something that is going to open up to not only communication and contact worldwide, but I would like to vacation in Zeta Reticuli. You know what I mean? Interstellar travel, opening up a trade. I'd like to see what gems look like, you know, from Proxima Centauri. I would like to have access to a universe type of trading system. Would that open up?
So once the planet, which is an ancient spirit, once we channel enough energy into the core of it, because the pyramid's not doing that anymore. The pyramid used to keep it in a higher frequency, so that the planet was actually, ETs would come, they would land their ships, these things would happen. Once we channel enough energy into the core of the planet, yes, that will happen, where you will interact with the ETs. But until then, that's not going to happen. And the ultimate plan of the divine, which are the force above the ETs, that the ETs get their instructions from, is for humanity to ascend into that power and take control of their planet and steer it into higher frequencies. That's the ultimate plan. So, I mean, we were sent in to help humanity remember and understand how energy works and how their power works, and to teach them to access that, so then they can go ahead and channel that energy to bring the frequency of their planet up.
Now, I have heard so many of my friends and people around me, you know, say, dude, if 5D doesn't happen this year, I'm out. Right? I've been waiting for this ascension. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting and waiting. I've worked so hard, but I don't know if I can hang for another year.
A lot of people don't know how to bring themselves into higher dimensions. You can only do that when you rebirth your body, like I explained a while ago, and bring up the charge of your body. And if you're waiting for 5D to merge into you, that's not really going to happen until you put in the work. I go above 5D. In fact, I was told that 5D is one of the last dimensions that what I call the lower spirits, that are lower energies, can reach. So I go up to 22D. So for me, 5D is kind of low. It's the dimension that's the last dimension that anything negative can reach. So I would recommend going above 5D, which is possible when you learn how to channel energy in. You light up and you can go to different dimensions.
And for how would I know? I mean, I talk to so many about this. I mean, how do I know? How do I know that I'm not only 5D but ready for it? You know, how do I know this?
I tell my clients this. I'm like, you know, your higher self made a decision to come to me. I'm aware of this.
Right.
So they have already made that decision. So that's why they come my way, because I don't force anything. And I follow a series of cosmic universal laws where those who come to me, I can heal them. I don't force things. Whenever you go through this experience, your body tingles. You'll feel elated. You'll feel in God consciousness. You'll start having flashes of past lifetimes. You'll start having different supernatural things that happen to you, and you'll know that it's happening to you.
Now, we're going to be together June 6th through the 12th, and you said to me earlier in the show that you could teach me how to time travel.
I can definitely teach you how to light up your abilities, for sure.
And how would I... Okay, is this something... I've only got 2 minutes, but I have to know. Is this something that I'm going to experience in the physical? Or am I going to tell my friends that it was my mind going there? It was cool, I did it. Or is this going to be something else, something more physical?
So with my clients, sometimes they time travel in their dreams. Sometimes they have visions of it. Sometimes they feel and experience it like they're there. So it happens on different levels with different people. So I cannot specify one specific way it will happen to you. It does take some work. I wind up teaching people in 20 sessions. So how to light themselves up. Sometimes people get it in the 3rd session and they're like, okay, I went through a Stargate and I went and spoke to the Arcturians. Sometimes people in 5 sessions or even on the 10th session, they tap in, but they always wind up tapping in the end. So it really differentiates, according to the person.
I'm really excited about hanging out with you in June. It's going to be great. We're going to have such a great time. And I want to say this before we leave. Oh, it's Sarah R. Adams. You got to put the R in there, SarahRAdams.com, and the links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. And I know that a few times tonight I mentioned Alan Steinfeld. He's somebody that is just a great friend. He's a really cool dude, and I just love that guy. But he still eats In-N-Out doubles every single day. I don't know how he does it, Sarah. I don't know. I don't know how he does it.
He comes to my house for smoothies. He's all getting my superfood smoothies.
No, yeah, but see, he's driving to McDonald's after he leaves. I'm just telling you right now. Sarah, thank you so much.
Naughty. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute great conversation tonight. Where can everybody reach out to you?
So they can go ahead and go to my website, which is SarahRAdams.com, and that's Sarah with an H, by the way, and you will find, a lot of different articles on the subjects we talked about today. You'll also find testimonials. That's one way to find me. I am on social media. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook under SarahRAdams.com. Also, Sarah R. Adams. Also.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Behave and be well. And enjoy the rest of your night, and then we'll see you in 4 short weeks in Laughlin, Nevada. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Great conversation tonight. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. And again, it's very simple. SarahRAdams.com. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. And you can follow Sarah on Twitter. All of that is up in our feed as well. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
To my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church, and I'll be at the UFO MegaCon this June 6th through the 12th, 2021 in Laughlin, Nevada. The Laughlin UFO MegaCon is unique. It's 7 days of education and disclosure. It's unlike all other UFO conferences. The Laughlin UFO Mega Conference specializes in bringing you new people, offering new information and disclosure. All of this is offered at prices so low you can actually afford to be there. For instance, 7-night hotel packages, 1 or 2 people, start at just $320 inclusive. Education and disclosure is why the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference exists. Join us for all 7 days, or a half a week, or just a day or 2, but join us. Go to LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com. Register now. The only thing keeping you from being with all of us is you. Daily live streaming now available worldwide. It's this June 6th through the 12th. Just go to LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you, Sarah Adams. That was a great conversation right there. That was a great conversation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And she will be with us at the UFO MegaCon coming up June 6th through the 12th. I look forward to seeing all of you there. And I've opened up the phone line, 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. And there you go. I enjoy one of the things that I have learned after doing this show for so many years, a long time, is I enjoy a conversation. That's what I want to have on the show. I want to sit down and have a conversation with somebody. And that's what I just did with Sarah. I had a conversation. That's incredible to do that. And you know, I'm out here every single night doing this show 4 nights a week. I know what a real conversation is. Tonight was a real conversation. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. 747-228-2051. And with that, let's go to the phones. Let's see who's up first. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
I know.
You got to turn me. You got to turn me down in the background.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
All right.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, number one. Haven't talked to you in a bit.
Right on. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So, that was quite a conversation. I really loved most of it. You know, you said last week, some of it, if you're not going to, go crazy, no. And then, and, this wasn't the show for us to listen to. So a couple times I felt like my head was going to explode. And it's like, no, but that's good. This is all, part of the learning process. But in listening to her, some of it I really, really appreciated. And all of a sudden I flipped back to, I felt like I was listening or watching the movie Horse Girl. And we've talked about that movie before.
Right. What about Horse Girl, though?
Well, just the fact that everything that she was going through, people just thought she was crazy, and she starts questioning her own reality. And, how would normal people respond if she had explained it to them and how her therapist treated her and everything. And so unless you're part of this community, you can't openly listen to Sarah's experiences and treat it seriously. And some of it I take very seriously. I love the part where she's talking about how the ETs basically are here to help us. We have to come to a place where we're ready to accept their help, not save us, but help us ascend. And I've recently come to the belief that the ETs are here with us, right beside us, and we can't tell them apart from us. They look just like us. They've been here as long as we have been here. They're observing us. They're helping to every day, trying to help us ascend, whether they're putting, thoughts in our mind telepathically or just giving us comfort or trying to help us reach to a higher spiritual understanding. But I believe that they're right here beside us and that they have been.
There was a lot of tonight where, let's put the woo back in the woo. I get that part. And the fantastic parts of the conversation about ET and contact and going on to craft and things and that this is ongoing, from childhood through today. That's great. That's fun. I enjoy. But there were moments tonight. Trust me, I study science and I study physics, and there were moments tonight where Sarah was saying things that were scientifically correct and were very powerful and very strong. And I'm watching her. You guys can't see. I'm watching her speak and answer these questions. And there were some moments there where I totally understood what she was saying. And it was very impressive from a scientific perspective. It was very, very, very strong and very moving. Very moving.
She was hitting on Jimmy's cylinder. She was hitting on their cylinder.
Well, there's that part of it, but see, this is the thing. When if you're watching a movie, if you're playing a video game and you're getting into the science fiction side of things, most of it is freedom of creativity from the writer. There's a lot of freedoms that are taken there. So you have to let go of what your understanding of how some of this stuff is possible, how it can occur. But with what she was expressing through her own experiences were things that that have a very solid scientific foundation to it. And that doesn't come from, when I'm talking about Sarah or somebody else like Sarah, that doesn't come from dreams, or this doesn't come from a fantasy mind. This comes from another place. And that was, I was listening very, very, very closely. And it was very interesting, very strong. She's very smart. He's very smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
And
it was an amazing conversation for sure.
Yep.
Hey,
Now, the other part to this, which I mean, for anybody listening to the conversation, I say this all the time. Just take the information, collect it, listen, have open ears and an open mind, and move forward and continue to collect information. There is Sarah and those like her are just a very small piece of the puzzle. Very, very small. There's way too much to learn here. But if we are going to turn around and accept, okay, let me say this, and I want everybody to listen to every word I'm about to say. I spoke about this on Thursday. I posted some stuff from like the Daily Mirror or the Sun or whatever. It doesn't matter. George Knapp and Senator Harry Reid. And then the comments that I got basically from the UK, but others too, saying, "Hey man, this is what you can't. This is a tabloid like the Inquirer. This is sensationalism. They're going to twist it. They're going to do this. So you can't depend on it. You can't do this." But 2 weeks prior, when the Daily Mirror or the Sun or the whatever newspaper that does this stuff posted the pictures of the flying pyramids, that was great. Right? Everybody loved it then. And it's just like
people want to cherry pick.
It's the same thing with a different guest that we have on this show. It's the very same. You cannot pick and choose. You can't go through a cognitive dissonance on everything where you're only going to have blinders on. And if something conflicts with what you believe is true or truth in your world, you're going to shut that out. And then you're going to get angry when you hear something that goes against your own belief system. That's wrong. And I have learned that in my life, man. I've been wrong more times than I have been right. And I wish that I would have listened more for the times that I have been wrong, because maybe I would have been more right than wrong. That's the way it is. And that's the way that the world works. And that's why I will always have conversations with anybody, and I will sit down and listen to anybody. I do. And that's it. That's how I run it. So there you go.
Well,
any last thoughts?
Can I just... Yeah, a last thought. I don't know if you can see my handle in the sandbox. I've changed my name, and it's now Pleiadian Deb, because I personally have had contact, I believe, through dream states, hypnosis, and through a psychic with the Pleiadians. And I believe that I'm a reincarnated Pleiadian soul. And I know I sound crazy saying that. Some night when we have more time to talk, I'll share some of the stuff. But before that happened to me, I always thought, well, these things are possible. Well, now I believe for sure these things are possible.
What happened? What happened? Is this recent?
Well, first, yeah, like over the last month. I started having a lot of dreams about what I considered Pleiadian beings coming to me. And in one dream, they just spoke with me, but in another dream, they actually took me on a ship, took me away, and they took me to the Pleiades constellation, okay? And I can't remember a lot of the conversation, but they just told me, well, you're one of us. You're part of our family. You're from here. And then I woke up, and I was like, oh, my God, So I've only had 2 really vivid dreams like that. And then I go on I'm a night owl, so I do my night walks late at night. And one night I branched out a little further, and right around the corner, about half a mile across from this park, I saw like a stray dog over there. So I went to go make sure it was okay. And I looked up, and the street sign said Pleiades on it. And I'm like, oh, my God. I mean, if that isn't a sign. And I wish I had had my phone with me, because I would have taken a picture, and I still will, and I'll post it. But it's literally right around the corner after I had this dream. I saw the Pleiades street sign right there. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then so I recently spoke with a psychic at length, and we did, a thing back and forth over the phone. And she said, yeah, you're definitely a Pleiadian soul. So when I had that confirmation, I was like, okay, that's enough for me. So, and I've had a little bit more since then, but through regression therapy, which is not enough time to go into. But basically, that's why when I'm going to change my thing here on my profile, I'm going to put a Pleiadian background. I mean, the Pleiades background. I'm going to change my name. And that's how I identify.
So,
and it's a profound change, and it's still kind of blows my mind, but I feel like that's my truth.
So when you're listening to Sarah tonight, or others, like Sarah,
yeah,
you're now in a relationship mode. You're relating.
Yeah.
No, you just can't
Big
say
time.
yeah. Okay, yeah, big time.
Well, I mean, I just described to you how her thoughts, a lot of them, I can relate to them. Why I relate to them. I mean, I'm not sure what else you want. I mean, I'm visualizing her experiences about being on a ship and what that feels like, and the vibration through your body, and all these different things. And I joked in one tweet about it. But seriously, I understand more deeply what she's talking about. Not from the age of being a child, although
that was my next that was my next question.
Well, okay, that goes into the regression therapy I had, because I wanted to have hypnotic regression about the sleepwalking episodes I've had.
Okay.
And particularly one when I was 8 years old. And when I was having the regression, it wasn't sleepwalking. I was taken by the Pleiadians as an 8-year-old child. So, I woke up out in the middle of the street at 3:00 in the morning in my pajamas, ringing the doorbell of our neighbors, looking for my mom. I didn't know where I was or how I got there. And it was always attributed to sleepwalking. And I've always had a problem with that, because the more I've questioned my sister and my mom over the years, they're like, yeah, but the door was locked. And back then they had double locks with keys. The key was put away. I couldn't have gotten out of the house. And so all these details, after being put together more and more, it's just like, okay, when am I going to take the step and have some regression? Because this is terrifying. I want to know, but I don't want to know. What am I going to do? How do I deal with this? And basically, as much as I was able to recover from my regression, it revealed that, yeah, you were taken. You were taken by a Pleiadian ship. I wasn't scared. They felt like family. They looked like me, and, they looked, I have a Swedish-English bloodline, and that's what they looked like, basically. And it didn't feel alien or weird. It just felt like you were on a weird vehicle, and they're flying around up in the stars, and they're showing you the universe and talking to you and telling you, well, you have this life to live. You've chosen this life, and there are things that you need to accomplish, and you need to serve others. It's very important that you serve people. And part of my thing growing up in my church, it helped set some really important foundations for me, like caring about homeless people, feeding the hungry. That's one of my big missions, big love for animals. So those things are so embedded in me, I'm just compelled to do things sometimes. I mean, people think I'm crazy. Sometimes I go out 3 a.m. to 7-Eleven, and if I see a homeless person, if they need money, I give them money. If they're hungry, I buy them a meal. I sit there and talk to them for a while. And my friends are like, Debbie, you could get mugged. No, I've always been protected. I just don't feel that I'm in danger. I feel like I just feel compelled to do these things sometimes. And so I do. I told you a long time ago, Jimmy, I'm a really weird mixed bag of things. I really am. But I do feel that my, being raised in a church, my Christian foundations and knowing Jesus, I have Jesus and God in my life and my heart. I always have. I think they're connected to all our ET brothers and sisters. We're all part of the same thing.
Man, I'm glad I have coffee tonight. That's all very because I'm taking it all in right now. I need the energy to absorb all of this. I mean, this is. I always look.
I can't see you on the bunker, Jimmy. I can't see you on the bunker cam right now.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
I hope you're not laughing at me.
No,
because I'm being really serious.
I'm not laughing. I would never laugh. I don't laugh at anybody. I only laugh at Awakening Man. That's the only person I laugh at, or Mark Tirana. Okay, but hold on. But let me back up. Let me back up before we get off the air. I have had some pretty remarkable things happen in my life. That I think are remarkable that I can't explain. But what I don't have is the experiences that so many others have had, like you at the age of 8. I haven't had that experience. And I find it, I'm open-minded. You know, I want to listen to everything, but I'm also a little bit jealous. And I have talked to so many people that can go back and say, hey, when I was 5, this happened. When I was 6, this happened. When I was 7, for you, it was when I was 8. I don't have those experiences. I don't have a pure contact experience. I don't have that. I've never had, I don't think, an NDE almost. Have I made ET contact? Almost. Have I time traveled or astral body? Almost, right? It's all. I haven't. Have I communicated with the dead? Have I done? Everything is almost. But on the other side of that, I've had the crazy experiences. I've had a house disappear on me. I don't care what people say. The thing happened, right? The Led Zeppelin thing. I can't explain that, but it happened. I've seen a couple of ghosts. I've seen a couple of weird things. Those things have happened. I've seen lots of things in the sky that I can't explain. I've had the beer can that I've experienced with others. But does that make me an experiencer? Is that an abduction? No, I haven't had any of that. I haven't had any of it.
You can't say no, Jimmy, until you're willing. And I was scared to death to have regression. I'll be honest. It's taken me years to come to this point because I was terrified of what I was going to find out. But once I did it, and all I can say is if you do that, you're going to have more answers. You can't say no until you have that done. Yeah. And you certainly know the right people to be able to guide you gently through. But you have to be ready for it. It has to be on your timeline. And things will bring you to that point where, just like it did with me, where, okay, now here's your timeline. It's time. You need to find this stuff out. And I know I haven't found everything out. I know there's still more. I mean, I got my Carolyn Ford skull a couple of weeks ago, and I named her Persephone. And the next day I was holding her, and she renamed herself. She spoke into my brain, and she told me, no, I'm Sweet Carol. She said, I'm Sweet Caroline. And at the same time, I listened, and then in the background, I turn on the radio, and the next song on the radio is Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline. And I'm like, holy crap, this stuff is like
insane. That stuff is real. Yeah, that's real. I'm with you on that.
But I can't say that to anybody else except you guys, because everyone thinks I'm effing crazy.
Right.
So what do you do with them? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. Who's on tomorrow? Billy Carson. So we'll see you tomorrow with Billy.
Carson.
Have a great
You're
night,
Egypt,
Deb.
buddy.
I'll talk to you.
You too, Jimmy. Thanks for taking my call. Bye.
Right on. I feel that, wow, that was an unexpected conversation. That just came out of nowhere. Thank you for that, Deb. Just like the rest of the conversation tonight on the show. But I firmly believe, I say that all the time, I firmly believe, I am telling you that science is going to figure out consciousness, energy, the connection of everything that there is, and we are going to find out very quickly how little we know, and then how much we know. and I've said this for years, right? When those dominoes start to fall, right, and they just start, it's just going to just like a YouTube video. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be thousands of dominoes, and they're all going to knock each other down. And everything, because right now it seems that everything that was just fantasy and science fiction and everything that has been just pushed back, and running in the background right now is being talked about. I'm not kidding about when I say UFO Friday, and you think about what went down on Friday. I'm not so sure that it's ever been like that before. That was the New Yorker, right? The New York Post, and these things coming out mainstream, boom, and that night you've got Tucker, and this was our Friday. These things are being talked about for a reason right now. It's unbelievable. I'm not so sure how far it's going to break, or if there is going to be something, and I'm telling you, don't expect it from the Pentagon, don't expect it from the UAP Task Force or this report of Marco Rubio, Senate Intelligence Committee. Don't expect it from there, because they're not being pressured into it yet. There isn't a reason for them to do it. So you don't have to go there, so you can just relax. But it's the other side. It's the physicists, it's the scientists, it's the astronomers, the astrophysicists that are out there. That revelation is going to happen in a big way. And then it's going to be everything else. I'm telling you, I feel it. I feel it. I just feel it. There is something going on. There is too much. This conversation that we're having tonight on the show and what Fade to Black is all about is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, it's about to break. I can feel it. There was a time, not only back when I started this show, and it's 8-9 years ago now, but and before that, where this stuff was not discussed. No, it wasn't. Today, it's everybody. It's being fed to us. It's being shown to us. It's not only the mainstream media, but it science and education. And then we have the politics and the military and everything else all at the same time. It's like Superman Bizarro world. And that's where we are at. This is a fantastic time to be here. I'm telling you, I feel like something is about to break, and it's going to happen on our watch. Yeah. Tomorrow night, Billy Carson is here. Wednesday night, Tim McMillan, who has been out there doing it for so long, great researcher. He's here for the first time, and that's on Wednesday. And then Thursday, Linda Moulton Howe. So it's just the UFO topic all week from the very, very best, starting with tonight. And I'm going to get out of here. This is Fade to Black. I want to thank Sarah Adams. Great conversation tonight. Thank you so much. And she will be with me at the UFO MegaCon, June 6th through the 12th. I want you to go to jimmychurchradio.com, scroll down, click on that banner. It's right there. Get your tickets and come and hang out with us. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2021 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Billy Carson. Yeah, right here. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.